Citing a novel or any work of literature that is posted online in a database or just anywhere you find it online becomes a little more complicated if you're trying to use a citation generator like EasyBib, which I'm a big fan of EasyBib, but it does not work perfectly for doing a correct works cited for sources that you are reading from the internet if those are public domain, so no longer copywritten works, like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So I just wanted to remind you of some of the important parts of the works cited for every source using MLA format, Modern Language Association. You can find all of this help, citing sources help, by going to style.mla.org. I'll put a link to this in the video so you can look at that in the notes. But I want you to notice the first thing is always the author. The second thing is the title of the source. Now, if you just copy and paste the link that you have for accessing the novel or short story or poem or whatever it is that you are using, if you just use that link and pop it into the citation generator, it's not likely to give you the actual author of the actual novel or short story or poem or play as the first thing that belongs in the works cited, but it is. I think this is particularly important when we are talking about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, because she was not allowed to put her own name on her own work in 1818 when she first published it, because she was young and she was female and she was betrothed, I suppose, to Percy Shelley. At that point, she was not yet married, and she people thought that he wrote it. People thought Lord Byron wrote it. So we're not going to do that to Mary Shelley anymore. She's going to get her name on her own work. Even in the 1831 version that she published later after Percy Shelley's death, the title page says Mrs. Percy Shelley. So she doesn't get to use her own name enough in her own lifetime. So we're going to remedy that in our MLA format in our current day citation of her work. So let's look. I have pulled up EasyBib, big fan of EasyBib, except I get irked with it when it does some of the things that I just described. I'm going to go to an online version that I've posted for you of the full novel. So you've got the Gutenberg version. I know a lot of people are using that. I like this one with the that reads with you, the audio book. But since most of you or some of you are using the Gutenberg Project version, I'm going to go to that. So our standard to cite something using EasyBib is just to paste that address into the citation and see what it pulls up. Do a search. Waiting with bated breath to see what it pulls up. And then it's got Frankenstein. Good. It looks like the right site, so we're going to just go with it. And you can see already that it's got the website title. It's got what it's calling an article title. We know this is a novel. It is not an article. So already you can see there are problems. But nevertheless, we will continue. And you can change these things here, but I tend to just let it go ahead and do its thing. I don't want to put Mary Shelley as a contributor, I don't think. I will try it, and I will see if it does anything worthwhile. It's probably going to put it somewhere where a contributor might go, so you can see contributors go here, and that's not what we're going to want. So we're going to just give it a shot. Complete citation. View a sponsored message instead of paying for this. So after the message, it showed me what we have, and so one that I had done earlier gave me just that, and I did not put Mary Shelley's name in it, but this time it did. It gave me the author's name first, which I really like. It did not list her as a contributor. So if this were done for me for one of my classes, I would make sure that the student knew not to keep Frankenstein in quotation marks because it is not an article. So I would copy this one and then make modifications. So I'm going to go to a Word document. I'm going to paste this in, and I'm going to make sure Frankenstein is in italics. Frankenstein, or the Modern Prometheus, is actually the full title of the work, but I would accept just Frankenstein. That's fine. You know that the author's name is always last name, comma, first name, followed by a period, and then the title of a novel or a play, any long work, should be in italics. The website title goes in italics. So they're given this as the whole website title. That's a little bit weird. It's giving you an access date, which is fine. I don't need to know the access date. The location is that URL link. I don't mind if you leave that in the actual clickable link. In fact, I kind of prefer it. Some instructors will ask you to take that out, and if you need to take it out, you just right click on it and then you can hit remove link. But I like having it there. I can see where you have gotten your information. What else? I would like to know the version you are using. So let's look here and see how we do that. So version is really the first version, and it's the publication date is what I'm really looking for. So the publication date is 1818. So I would recommend that you add 1818 before the location. I believe it goes before the location. Yes. So let's put that before the URL. So this is the kind of thing that you don't memorize, because my goodness, why would you memorize MLA format works cited stuff? You have to continue to go back and look, just like I did. I've been doing this for years. They do updates on occasion, so whether something's a comma or a period, or what page numbers and that sort of thing. And speaking of page numbers, you will need to only use page numbers if you are citing something that is in a larger work. For example, if you were citing a short story from an anthology, you would need to use the page numbers. That would be in the location spot. So the location could be page numbers. But when you're citing an entire novel and it's all by itself, you don't need to use page numbers. All right, I hope that is helpful. Ask me any question you have, just send me an email and I will get back to you shortly.